Her triumphs. I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials.
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story.
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so excited to have you here with us on Her Why, where we celebrate the amazing women who make BYU sports great. Joining me today is Meghan Hunter, an All-American record-breaking BYU track and field star who has made her mark at nationals and is one of the fastest 800-meter runners ever. Meghan, so great to have you back.
Thanks. Yeah, happy to be here.
Crazy things have happened, right? Recently, what an amazing year. A lot has happened since the last time you were on this podcast, so let's start with the most recent meets. Starting with regionals in College Station, Texas at Cushing Stadium. You break a Cushing Stadium record, a BYU record, and run a sub 159 for the second time in a month. How would you describe what that experience was like?
That was just such a neat experience because that whole weekend, I just thought back to 2 years ago when it was like such a miracle that I had even made it to the national meet. And was running like 2:05s. And so it was just so cool to kind of look back at how far I had been able to come. And yeah, just a lot of exciting emotions there. And the regionals meet 2 years ago where I had qualified for nationals for the first time. I had done it with a teammate, Claire Seymour. And this time around, I got to be the older one, hopefully helping my younger teammate along, Tessa Bushwell. She is a freshman, has had an amazing year. And so being able to make it to nationals with her too was just kind of the cherry on top. Like, yeah, it just was, super fun meet.
What was the game plan going into that regional race for you?
Yeah, that regionals race where I ran the 158, going into it, we knew I was a favorite to make it to nationals, but we didn't want to leave anything up to chance. We know that anything can happen, and we couldn't get too confident on regionals day. And so, yeah, the plan was just to kind of do what I had done a couple weeks earlier at conference, to just kind of go out and make the pace hot, make it a fast race, and just kind of have a strong first 200 and then just see how I could close to kind of practice for nationals. And so, yeah, the plan was to take it out, make it a fast race, and just kind of see what I could do.
Was the mentality like, okay, I just got to qualify, or you're like, I'm going to go out and run as fast as I can?
Plan A was like, yeah, let's qualify. And then we were just kind of see where else that took us. So yeah, the big thing for that meet was I want to make it to nationals. Like, nothing's guaranteed. We got to go for it. And then, yeah, it was fun to also be able to make it a fast race as well.
Running a sub 159 is crazy. Did anything from that race boost your confidence or shift your focus going into nationals?
It's kind of interesting because I felt this after the conference meet when I broke 2 for the first time and it was a 158. I was talking to my coach and I thought, it feels really good to have done this. This is something that we've been working towards for years and years, and it's been a long journey to get here. And I wanted it earlier, and there were all these things kind of leading up to it. And then when it actually happened, I was super excited, but at the same time, everything just kind of felt the same. I had felt like I think I already kind of knew that it was something that I was going to be able to do. I wasn't exactly sure when that would happen, but training showed that it was something that I was going to be able to do. And then the outcome came, and I think that I was just kind of so focused on the process, and the outcomes, they were super exciting, but I just wanted I had a lot of process goals kind of focused on my effort with each workout and each race. And so yeah, then after it was like, okay, well, I think my process is going to stay the same. Outcome is a little bit different. It might open up some different opportunities for me, which is exciting. But honestly, like we're just going to have the same game plan and just going to keep doing what we were doing. So, it did give me some extra confidence, but at the same time, it was just like, okay, I knew that was in there. Now the rest of the world knows as well, but we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
And you couldn't take too long to celebrate because then you were headed to nationals in Eugene, Oregon. You have to get through the prelims first. How did you approach that race?
Yeah. We always say that prelim day is a lot more stressful than the actual final. We got to make it there. During my indoor season, I had a little injury come up before indoor nationals, and training looked a little bit different, and I wasn't super confident going into race day, and I didn't make the final. And so this whole outdoor season, I had the thought of, okay, step one, make the final. Step one, make the final. I got asked a lot about what my goals were for the national meet, and I'd just say, well, first I need to make the final. Step one is make the final. And so that was my mindset going in. I knew that I had the strength to be able to make it to the final, but I was going to need to race smart. And there were a lot of really fast girls in my heat. And so, going into that race, I think I had some confidence, but also some humility of okay, we need to make this happen. We need to be smart. And that race was just a lot of fun because I felt like I was able to kind of execute it how we had planned, and felt strong finishing with that race. And so, gave me some excitement going into the final.
I can't imagine the butterflies that you feel right before that gun goes off with all that pressure on you. It's a lot. So how do you balance? You keep mentioning there's a game plan, right? There's a plan, and I'm sure you and Coach Taylor and your other coaches come up with. How do you balance saving energy while making sure you hit that time that you're wanting to hit?
For that race, the game plan was to get out hard enough, get out in that front pack, and then that final 100, just kind of see who's around you. If it looks like it's going to be a race to the finish, you just keep going, we don't really care about saving energy. We just need to make it there.
Yeah.
But if you're looking around and seeing okay, I'm top two is what makes it, we're good. Then you can kind of jog it in. And so, that race, it was a really stacked prelim. So many speedy girls this season, which is super exciting to be around. And so I knew it was probably not going to be a jog it in kind of day. And so, the mindset was just kind of go race. And that's what I did.
Now on to the final. You finished third in the entire country, which is so amazing and incredible. What was going through your mind before that race started?
There were a lot of emotions just with it being my last collegiate race. Just kind of thinking back to what a journey it's been to be here, and just full of a lot of gratitude that I got to do this. This year I've really been trying to focus on the fact that the sport is so fun, because it can get really stressful and overwhelming sometimes. But this year I think has been so much better with my pre-race nerves, just because I've been, telling myself that this is just so fun and that I get to do this. This is something that I choose to do and I get to do this. And so going into that final, that morning, I actually texted my coach. I said, okay, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm feeling kind of confident, but I think I'm going to be really disappointed if I don't perform how I want to. And I really don't want to be tied to that outcome. And she replied with, we're focusing on the effort. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to be proud of the effort. If the effort is what we need it to be today, like, we're going to be happy with the race. And so I think that helped kind of take some pressure off of like, okay, I could come in first, second, third, fourth, whatever. But as long as I raced the best that I could, we're going to be happy. It's going to be a solid day. And so, yeah, that took some of the pressure off and helped me just kind of enjoy that last race of my collegiate season.
How much do you know about the other runners that you're racing against before you start a race?
Yeah, we know quite a lot. Each person has their different running styles. And so that's something that we think about and talk about as we come up with a strategy. And we knew that there were going to be a couple girls that were going to go out really hard, probably harder than I would have wanted to. And so, yeah, the plan was to not follow them, which I didn't quite do. I just got so excited and impatient. So we got out pretty hot. But yeah, kind of expecting that there would be girls who would do that. And so, yeah, we do know, we have an idea at least of kind of what the other girls are going to do. But then really all we can control is how we do it. And so I try to, make my race plan kind of thinking about what the others will do, but then, not making any assumptions of like, oh yeah, this is how they're going to do. Just, being focused on what I can control in that race.
Was the outcome something you expected? When you came in third place, you see your time, was that something you were like, were you happy about it? Did you feel good about it? Or did you, like you mentioned, when it's hard, your coach wants you to focus on the effort, but you being the athlete and competitor that you are, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, as hard as we try to not focus on the outcome, that still matters to us. And I did have higher goals than placing third. And I just really didn't execute my race quite how I should have. But right after I crossed the finish line, my teammate, Lexi Holiday Lowry, was there. And she had just finished her race. She had raced phenomenally. She ran an amazing time. Really couldn't have gone better. But she placed second. And she had higher goals than that. And so she waved me over and was like, Megan, like you're okay. Like, that was great. Like, we're going to celebrate, like, what we can celebrate. And I think that helped me initially after, like, okay, like, things are good. Like, even though it wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, I was proud of my effort. Like, I went for it. And how that race went, I knew I had prepared for it the best that I could. All of my training, all of my habits had kind of built up to that moment. And I was so proud of the effort that had gone into that race that, even though it wasn't quite what I was hoping for, it was still, just really rewarding to have raced how I did at that national final.
Like I told you before this, my family and I were watching, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old boy, 2 boys. And we were watching your race, and we love BYU, obviously, so they were watching you the whole way, and you crossed the finish line, and my 6-year-old was like, she took bronze! So ecstatic. So, I mean, it is an incredible thing that you did and represented BYU in just the best way possible. What was the reaction from your coaches and your teammates? You mentioned Lexi and how important that meant to you. What was the reaction from your coaches when you crossed that finish line?
Yeah, she just told me how proud she was of me. She knew my goals and knew it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but still knew that was a race like that we should be proud of. She just told me how much she loved me and how proud she was of me and how excited we are for the future. And my teammates were all the same. Something that has really helped me this year, sometimes before my race, before I put my phone away to warm up and stuff, I'll see a text from my fiance, James, and it's just something simple like, I love you. And just that little message means so much to me before a race, because I think, like, no matter how this is going to go, like the people that I care about are still going to be there for me and they're still going to love me. And I really feel that from my team. I feel like we have like such a great culture here at BYU, and my teammates are going to be so proud and still love me no matter how I do. And I'm going to feel the same way about them. And so, yeah, just the fact that we have that culture here at BYU is really, really awesome and has made my time here at BYU just be so special. You know, we really have such a great team here. And I love the sisterhood here.
When you look back on your final outdoor season, there's some just incredible highlights. Like you mentioned before, you have the Big 12 championship. You finally break the 2-minute barrier in the 800 meter, which had been a huge goal for you for a long time. You knew you could do it. One of the fastest women on the planet by doing that. You break so many records, and then you go to nationals. You have these incredible times. When you look back, what would you say was the highlight for you that makes you the most proud of this outdoor season?
I'd say the highlight of it was just how I was able to kind of let go of what I couldn't control and focusing on what I could. I feel like that's been something that has been really hard, and I think is hard for a lot of athletes, that when things kind of get out of control, then it's kind of hard to readjust and kind of get the right mindset. And so I'm just really excited with how much I've learned and grown through this sport. And yeah, being able to kind of manage my stress better and having more fun with the sport was a huge win for me. And yeah, when I ran that 158 for the first time, having my team there at the end was just so meaningful. They got ESPN, I think, got on video our big group hug at the end, and that just meant so much to me. Like I'm really gonna miss this team, and I have so many great memories with them, and just I'm so grateful for them.
Such an incredible group of women and coaches, and it's so much fun to watch. I want to know, because I feel like someone who doesn't do track and running, we don't quite understand what goes into shaving time off of your runs, because most of us are like, oh, you just run or run faster, you know? So when you look back at this year, what was it that led you to be able to keep shaving off time and so much time off of your runs?
I think it's just a big combination of a lot of things. Every single year, my all-in has looked different. Every single year, I felt like I was doing everything that I needed to, but each year I keep learning about something new that I should be adding in, or just kind of building a stronger mindset. My all-in has, just gotten better each year. And so there were a lot of things that I was doing differently, whether that was with nutrition or mindset, or my coach had a different style of workouts this year that I think was super helpful. And so I think that was a big part of kind of what helped me this season. And then also something big is just kind of trusting in God's timing. I mentioned earlier about my indoor season. It had gone really well, and I was super excited with where things were going, and it didn't quite end how I wanted it to. And, last collegiate year, like there's a lot on the stake, especially wanting to continue my running further after this year. And so I was a little bit nervous going into outdoor season. Like, I don't know how things are going to look. I don't know how I'm going to heal up. But I actually was talking with my fiance again and just thinking, like, I feel like I'm falling behind. And he showed me this clip from Roger Federer. He had spoke at a graduation just earlier, and his message was just focused on the next point. He said that in a tennis match, even if he had like the best hit of his life, the only thing that mattered was that next point. If he had the worst hit of his life, the only thing that mattered was that next point. And so I kind of had to rewire my mindset going into this outdoor season of like, okay, I'm just focused on the next point. Like when I had to take some time off of running, it was, okay, my next point is this next rep in cross training, or this next point is going to be this meal, making sure I'm fueling myself properly. And, having that mindset of like, okay, we're just focused on where we're at and we're going to just trust in God's timing. You know, I'm doing everything that I can. And so whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen because I'm doing my part. And that mindset shift, I think, was huge for some of my success this outdoor season.
You've been through so much. We're going to recap in a little bit, but what was your injury in indoor that you had to overcome?
I had some plantar fasciitis. It runs in the
So
family.
painful.
Yeah, my dad and my mom are struggling with it too right now. It's just, so fickle. It happened just a few days before we were going to leave to conference. It just flared up. And so we ended up sitting conference out and taking some time off. And luckily, like I really had a big team that was there to help me. All these doctors, all the trainers, my coach, reaching out to others. I really felt like I had the best resources to kind of nurse it back to health, and was so grateful to still be able to line up at nationals that year, or this year. That took just a little bit of time to get back from, but I think dealing with injury in the past has really helped me when I have injuries now. You know, I've learned a lot on kind of how to work through it and try to be where my feet are at.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk with Meghan about her journey to this point, getting married this week, and her career here at BYU. This is her why.
What's up, everyone? This is Lauren McLean. If you like good sports stories, make sure you check out Big Stories, hosted by Cleon Wall. BYU's opponents have uplifting stories, too. Big Stories tells those stories from all over the Big 12 footprint and beyond. Find it wherever you get your podcasts or on the BYU radio app.
Welcome back to Her Why. We're here with BYU's 800-meter record holder and NCAA podium finisher, Meghan Hunter. So just a quick recap. Last time you were on the show, you shared your recovery story from the car accident where you broke your neck. You thought you were possibly going to be paralyzed. You had to relearn how to walk and run. Looking back at everything you've done since that accident, what has it meant to you to come all the way back and finish your BYU career like you have?
It's just been so rewarding. After my accident, I mean, physically, you know, I had a great team to kind of help me get back to where I needed to be. And I'm super grateful for the success that I had there. But mentally was kind of the more difficult part, getting back. And when I first started realizing that I was having symptoms of PTSD and then falling into some anxiety and depression and insomnia, there were all these things that felt so overwhelming. And at the time, I had thought like this shouldn't be happening to me. Like I just never thought that this would be part of my story. You know, back at the time, like I thought that PTSD was just for war veterans.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of learning to do, but as soon as that all started and I started working through that, I realized how many people there were around me that were dealing with similar things. I had no idea just how many people close to me and you know, there were other people who would DM me on Instagram that I had never heard of, but like sharing their story, and that really impacted me a lot. Realizing that people had other like similar things going on, but were still able to do amazing things was just so inspiring to me, even at the beginning. And so part of the past few years as I've worked through that, I've really wanted to kind of become that person for someone else that needs me. I've been so inspired by the people who have done amazing things, who are dealing with mental health issues or other trials. And so, I hope my journey can help others on theirs. And so, I'm just grateful for the support that I was able to have through it all. And yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Just like full of gratitude, really looking back on just kind of how things have gone the last few years.
It's just an amazing story from where you were to where you've come. And I know it's been told so many times, but if anyone wants to hear Meghan's full comeback story, go check out season 1, episode 11 of Her Why, and she dives in a little deeper with that story. You redshirted outdoor last year. What was the thought process behind that decision?
Yeah, there are a few reasons why I did that. After indoor season, I had no thoughts of redshirting, but then my teammate, Lexi Holiday Lowry, actually, she was planning on redshirting, and we had the same amount of eligibility left. We both had one more outdoor season and one more indoor season. And she was like, well, it's just is kind of weird to end off on an indoor season. She was like, why aren't you redshirting too? And I gave it some thought. I was like, oh, actually, that year was going to be so hectic with my graduate program, and it was going to make all the travel that was required for collegiate racing to be really hard. And then also we just felt like I still had some learning and growing to do, and maybe saving that year for this year was going to be the right move. And so, it took some thought and prayer. I mean, I had a couple days to decide, but went to the temple, was
no
feeling
pressure.
good about things. Yeah. Big decision to be made. But yeah, I felt like I was kind of really guided to make that decision. And I mean, I'm so grateful that I did. I wouldn't have had this season if I hadn't decided to redshirt. And so really grateful that I did.
How do you feel like that benefited you, taking that time, obviously, to focus a little more on your studies and have less pressure with running? Mm-hmm. But how do you feel like that ultimately benefited you in the end?
I think for me, I really had a slow start with my collegiate running. I really just had a lot of learning and growing to do. And so I didn't really feel like I was back to where I wanted to be until that year before. And so even just a year later, like I just had learned and had grown so much. And so, I think it really benefited me to kind of take that time to learn some more, focus on some other things, and then get back into it this year.
Let's talk about school a little bit, because on top of everything else, you got your master's degree this year. What was it like balancing grad school and high-level competition and races at the same time?
I don't know if I would recommend it, to be honest. It was really hard, especially that first year. I've talked about how much I love my team, but there was a lot that I had to do on my own just because of class and clinic schedule. My coach worked with me the best that we could, but there's only so much we could do with the schedule. And so it wasn't uncommon to have a 14-hour day here at school between classes and running. And it was, I love being busy, but it was hard a lot of the time. But something that helped me going was thinking about my why. Why in the world was I doing this? As far as running went, my why was just like, running has made me such a better person. It's really developed me into who I am today. And so I want to keep doing that. This is something that really matters to me, and something that is going to really be helping me in the long run. And I love it. I enjoy it. And then my why for school is I want to make a difference in other ways as well. My master's is in speech therapy. I'll be a speech therapist starting in August, so that's super exciting. But I really enjoyed what I was learning, and I was hoping to be able to make a difference to others' lives through my profession of speech therapy. And I wanted to help provide for my family. And so there were so many reasons why I was doing both of those things that when I was getting overwhelmed with the balance of it all, I was able to look back and be like, okay, no, like there's a reason why we're doing this. And that helped motivate me through both of those things.
Some people run for therapy, right? It's therapeutic for them. That's more like leisurely running. And I think of you and all your amazing teammates that are some of the top runners in the entire world. When you're running, is it therapeutic for you? Or since you know what's on the line and you have that plan, is it something that you, it's not like your thoughts are free. It's like you're focusing on little details. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like for me, more so it is therapeutic. There's a lot on the line when it comes to running, but my favorite part of the day is like going to work out with the team. It's something that, I really enjoy. And getting out there and just like being outside, I think is so healing for me most of the time. So there are some days where I'm like, whoa, like, here we are. Yeah. But for the most part, running is kind of the highlight of my day and can help clear my mind and get me ready for whatever else I have going on.
Let's talk about life outside of sports and school for a minute. On your Instagram, you posted a day in the life of you feeding some animals. There was a bunny, there were some chickens. Tell me about that. Are those your own animals?
So I'm renting out from I'm renting a basement apartment from a BYU legend, actually, Jared Ward.
Oh, yeah.
And he is actually doing some school in England right now. And so he left the animals behind, and I was more than happy to take over that job. I have loved being like a mini farmer girl, if it even qualifies as that, taking care of my 10 chickens and 1 bunny. I have loved animals my whole life. And my parents are not animal people. I feel so bad for them. Growing up, all I wanted in life was a dog. I just needed a dog. And we compromised. I had a rat for a little bit.
No.
We had a bird. We had a lizard. We had different little animals to kind of compromise and keep me happy with that. And so I don't have a lot of experience with animals, but I love them. Something that actually calms me so much is going on a walk and visiting the horses. I'm living down in Mapleton, and there's some different farmlands there, and it just, I don't know, I love animals, and so taking care of them has been a fun little extra thing to do.
Has it inspired you to ask James if you guys can have a little mini farm once you get married?
Yeah. So we've been house hunting, and I wanted a house with a yard. I was like, I know in our price range that means it's gonna be ancient, an older house, but I want a yard. And he, was probably a little bit more realistic. I was like, maybe let's find a townhouse. I don't know if we should be taking care of a yard quite yet. I was like, but the animals.
But my chickens.
Yeah. So anyways, we ended up finding a townhouse, which I'm super excited about. And we're right next to the dog park. So
okay.
I'm like, there could be some things coming in the future. But he knows that someday when we're able to, we might expand our,
it's coming.
Animal.
Whenever that is, it's coming.
Yeah.
Something we also loved from that video is being one of the fittest people on campus. I love that you ride a scooter around. How often do you do that? Is that an everyday occurrence?
Oh, my first year of grad school, it was. So the locker room and where we train, it's on the lower side of campus. And then where I do all my school and clinic work, it's up at the Taylor building, which is, it's not even hardly part of campus. It's across the street from the creamery, kind of on a park. And so, just opposite sides. And so when I'm in a hurry trying to get from one place to the next, I use the scooter. My older brother actually works for this startup company. And so, I was lucky to inherit one of those scooters from his company. And it's been so nice to, just scoot back and forth.
Makes sense.
Different parts of campus.
And you got to save your energy for the important parts. You know what I mean? You're getting married in just a few days, but once this episode drops, you'll already be married. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about this next chapter of life?
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's kind of wild. I had my last day of classes yesterday, so I'll be graduating this week, and nationals last week, and then getting married this week. There is just a lot going on, and it's kind of wild to think. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around just kind of how different life will be. There's so, like, all the big areas of my life with running school and then relationships and just, not even turning a page. I don't even know if it's like starting a new chapter. Like, I feel like it's starting a whole new book. Just a lot of changes going on. And so I'm super excited. I've loved this chapter or book in my life, and I'm really excited to see where these changes take me.
What happens in the sequel? Tell us about James a little bit. He played baseball at BYU, graduated in 2020. How did the two of you meet?
So we met on Hinge, actually.
Yes.
We are one of those couples. It was during a time when I was so busy with track and school. I was like, I'm not meeting anyone, and I want to. And so I decided to get on Hinge. Plug for Hinge. Both of us had been on Mutual for a little bit. And friends kept telling us to get Hinge, and we did, and it worked out for us. Our first date, we met at the Wash, which is a Provo staple. And I remember leaving that date like, whoa, I don't want to get too excited, but like, I really liked him. And it just kind of grew from there. And yeah, he's awesome. Like you said, he played baseball for BYU. He's been graduated for a few years, and he's someone who has been through a lot of hard things as well, and that's something that I've really admired about him, is that he's been able to grow and become stronger. Has learned a lot from different life experiences, and yeah, I'm grateful he's going to be such a good teammate in this new chapter of life.
In this new book, you're going to be done running for BYU. You have a current deal with Nike. What are your plans after this? Do you plan on pursuing a professional career?
Yeah, that's something that has been a dream of mine that I wasn't really sure if it was going to become a reality. Up until this last season, things have been working out, which I'm so grateful for. And so, yeah, we're that's something that I'm hoping and thinking will happen. But we've been so focused on performing at conference and regionals and nationals that now I get to start focusing on that professional side and looking at contracts and figuring all of that out. So that's something that I'll be working on in the next few weeks and seeing what opportunities are out there for me. But yeah, I'm not ready to be done with this running stuff. And so yeah, I'm going to keep going, kind of no matter what that looks like.
Looking back, what's made BYU the right place for you as both an athlete and a person?
So when I was a freshman in high school, my older sister was a junior, Kate, and she was being recruited by different places, and she ultimately signed with BYU. And I remember thinking like, whoa, that just would be the coolest thing in the world. Like, I want to run in college, especially at BYU. And so that's something that I worked towards in high school. Once I started being recruited, I realized like, oh, there are other options here too. You know, it was always like BYU in my head, but then I started going on visits. I was like, whoa, I really like these other schools too. There were a lot of great things about the schools that I looked into. And so it ended up being, a decision that wasn't just, BYU is magically like what I'm just doing anyways. And it really took a big decision to be at BYU. And little did I know just how important of a decision that would be. Looking back, there are so many things that happened that are just like, I just don't know how things would have gone at a different school. I felt like things kind of worked out. Best case scenario here, I think a big part of that was Coach Taylor. She put so much into her athletes, and I was someone who had a pretty promising future. It looked like in high school. And then it ended up taking me a long time to kind of progress and actually have that future that we had talked about when I was being recruited. But she was so patient with me and really worked with me and met me where I was at, even though I wasn't where kind of the expectation was for me at the time. And so there was a lot of patience and grace from Coach Taylor, that, you know, I think that's really hard to find in NCAA sports. And then just my team, that honestly, the team was the biggest reason why I chose BYU. Just the feeling that I got here compared to other places, I just felt like, you know, first of all, these teammates have my same standards and morals and dreams. But more than that, they're just, I don't know, there was something just like untangible about it that this team had that I didn't feel like I could find anywhere else. And I was right. You know, we've really built this culture of just a lot of success and happiness for everybody's success. And so that's really meant a lot. And then being close to home, I think, has been a big blessing as I've gone through some different challenges. Having my parents just right down the road has actually been so nice. And so, yeah, looking back, like, it's just so hard to imagine being somewhere else. I have loved my time here at BYU, and I know with 100% certainty that this was where I needed to be.
You're leaving behind a phenomenal legacy for your family, for BYU. What advice would you give to younger runners who look up to you and dream of wearing that BYU jersey one day? There's so many things that I've learned that I wish I could have told my younger self. And so for those athletes that are, you know, dreaming to do something big, I think something that's so important to remember is that progress isn't linear. That there are going to be so many ups and downs. Even when things are going well, there's still going to be those downs, and not getting caught up in those and, you know, kind of spiraling. And when you have those downs, I think is something that's really important to remember, is to know that there will be ups. One of our team mascots is the butterfly. You know, first is Cosmo the cougar, but we've kind of adopted the butterfly, because just when the caterpillar thought the world was ending, it turned into a butterfly. And so we strive for those butterfly moments, that even when things aren't looking how we want them to, there's so much growth from those moments, and big things can happen. And so, yeah, my advice for the younger athletes is just to control what you can and know that there can be butterfly moments for you. I'm here with BYU 800-meter legend Meghan Hunter. Meghan, you're just so inspiring. I'm excited to see what you do next. And congratulations on your wedding, and good luck. And thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks to Annie Robinson and Christy Solomon for producing this episode, with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.